The money you are bleeding to save right now will probably be the exact thing that ruins your children. I am 86 years old. Last week I sat in the back of a probate court. I watched the children of my dead best friend tear each other's throats out over the empire he worked 80-hour weeks to build. You are sitting there right now, agonizing over the ultimate modern trap. Do I grind my bones to dust to leave behind generational wealth? Or do I cash out, buy the Porsche, and die with zero? Let me tell you a secret that Wall Street and your estate lawyers pray you never figure out. Both of those paths are complete garbage. Look at this hand. This hand signed million-dollar contracts, but it was too damn busy to hold my son's seat when he learned to ride a bike. I thought leaving him a paid-off mansion was a father's love. It wasn't. It was my own ego. Stop scrolling. Put your coffee down and listen to me, because what I am about to tell you will shatter everything you think you know about being a provider. If you get this wrong, your money means absolutely nothing. Let's talk about the first trap, the one I fell into, the path of the builder. Society worships the builder. They tell you it is the ultimate masculine sacrifice. We are the men who wear our boot soles down to nothing, who endure the ulcers and the high blood pressure, who swallow our exhaustion with cold, bitter coffee at 5 a.m. Why? So our kids will never know the taste of poverty. I remember 1978. I was 40 years old, exactly where you are now. I was running a logistics company. I was bleeding from my eyeballs to expand our territory. I operated under a righteous, intoxicating delusion. I convinced myself that my empty chair at the dinner table was a monument to my love. I thought I was building a fortress, a wall of generational wealth so thick that the cruel world could never touch my bloodline. Let me tell you about a Friday in July. We had planned a camping trip to Lake Tahoe. My son David was 9 years old. He had his little fiberglass fishing rod sitting by the front door since Tuesday. He could practically smell the pine needles and the campfire smoke. But on Thursday night, a major client threatened to walk. If I lost the account, the company wouldn't die, but my quarterly projections would tank. And my ego? My fragile, almighty provider ego couldn't stomach a loss. I walked into the hallway that Friday morning. I can still hear the exact sound of my heavy wingtip shoes on the oak floor. Clack, clack, clack. It sounded like a judge's gavel, handing down a life sentence to my own family. I looked down at David. I didn't even drop to one knee to look him in the eye. I just adjusted my tie and said, "Not this weekend, buddy. Dad has to secure the future." I watched him slowly pick up that fishing rod and carry it back to the dark garage. He didn't cry. He didn't throw a fit. It was worse. It was just quiet resignation. He learned at 9 years old that he would always be second place to a spreadsheet. I drove to the office that day and lied to myself. I said, someday, when I hand him the keys to the kingdom, he will understand. What a tragic load of bullshit. Fast forward 4 decades. David is in his 50s now. He has the trust fund. He lives in a gated community. But do you know what I actually gave him? I gave him financial anesthesia. I insulated him so completely from struggle, from consequence, that I amputated his resilience. When his marriage hit rough waters, he didn't fight. He bought lawyers. When a business got tough, he panicked and called my wealth manager to bail him out. He calls me on Father's Day. a polite, painfully hollow 10-minute phone call. Happy Father's Day, Dad. The portfolio looks good. There is no warmth. There are no shared memories of us freezing in a tent in Tahoe or laughing over a burnt dinner. I traded the actual soul of my son for a few extra zeros on a ledger that I am about to leave behind forever. Look in the mirror, son. You're not being a martyr. It's just your ego, terrified of not being the almighty provider. Now, before you start patting yourself on the back, let's look at the other side of the coin, the new religion. The modern, enlightened man who reads a few books and decides he's going to die with zero. I had a friend named Richard. Richard sold his real estate firm at 55. He bought the sailboat. He bought the Porsche. He spent his 60s drinking $500 bottles of Pinot Noir on balconies in Tuscany. His philosophy was bulletproof. He used to tell me, I paid for their college. I put a roof over their heads for 18 years. The rest is on them. I earned this money, and I am going to squeeze every drop of joy out of it. It sounded brilliant. It sounded like freedom. Until the real world came knocking. When his daughter's first startup collapsed, leaving her drowning in debt and terrified, Richard was on a golf course in Scotland. He sent her a text message. A text message, gentlemen. It said, "Tough break, kiddo, but failure builds character. Listen to me. There is a massive difference between letting your children build character and abandoning them to the wolves while you sip champagne." Richard is 82 now. He lives in a pristine, minimalist condo in Miami. It looks like a museum. He has a terabyte of high-definition photos from the Amalfi Coast, and absolutely nobody to look at them with. His kids don't hate him. That would require passion. It's much colder than that. They just don't need him. They look at him not as a patriarch, not as a wise elder who stood in the fire with them, but as a wealthy tourist in their lives. He died with zero, all right, zero money, and zero roots. He burned his entire legacy for a decade of room service and good weather. You think cashing out and living for yourself makes you enlightened? It doesn't. It makes you a boy who finally got the keys to the candy store. A real man doesn't just fund his escape. A real man funds his lineage. He stays in the game. Dying with zero is easy. Living with the ghosts of the people you refuse to help, that's the hard part. So, what is the answer? Do you build the fortress or do you burn the boats? The truth is, both of these men, the builder and the voyager, are driven by the exact same poison: ego. We are terrified of being forgotten. We look at our wealthy neighbors setting up massive trust funds, and we think we have to do the exact same thing to prove our power, to prove we are the ultimate patriarch. Or we look at the guys on the internet and we want to prove we are still young, wild, and free. We use our bank accounts to stroke our own fragile pride. We let society dictate our worth as fathers. But we fundamentally misunderstand what a legacy actually is. We think legacy is a noun, a piece of real estate, a diversified stock portfolio, a fat, heavy check. But let me tell you a brutal truth that took me 80 hard years to figure out. Money is not a legacy. Money is just a tool. It is a magnifying glass. If you hand a fortune to a weak, undisciplined child, that money will only magnify their ruin. It will fund their worst habits, their laziness, and their ultimate destruction. A true legacy is not what you leave for them. It is what you leave in them. Legacy is the experiences you walk through together. It is the physical, living example you set. It is the habits you forge in their character. How to save $1 when it hurts. How to survive a storm without panicking. How to look a man in the eye and keep your damn word. The only real purpose of leaving wealth behind is to buy them time, to let them take calculated risks so they can learn life's brutal lessons a little faster, not to buy them a permanent vacation from reality. You don't leave money to build them a soft mattress so they never have to stand on their own 2 feet. Listen to me carefully. If you die tomorrow and leave your children absolutely $0 in the bank, zero, but you leave them with a warrior spirit, an unbreakable work ethic, and the memory of a father who actually stood by them in the trenches, I promise you, they will build their own empires. They will conquer the world because you taught them how to hold a sword. But if you leave them $10 million and zero character, zero discipline, and zero shared memories of you actually being there, that money will evaporate in a single generation. And your name? Your name will be nothing but a fading, meaningless signature on a lawyer's desk. Don't let society's twisted metrics define your worth. You are not a bank, and you are not a tourist. You are a guide. You are sitting there right now, 50, maybe 60 years old. Your back aches a little in the morning, but your knees still work. Your kids still pick up the phone. You still have the most valuable currency in the universe, time. I don't. My clock is out of sand. So if you want to avoid becoming the ghost sitting in this leather chair, here is exactly what you are going to do starting tomorrow morning. Number 1, audit your ego. Stop looking at your net worth as a scorecard for your fatherhood. You are no longer the family reserve bank. You are the chief funder of character. If your kid wants to start a business or buy a house, don't blindly write a check to play the hero. Make them pitch you. Make them bleed for it a little. Be their toughest investor, not their savior. Number 2, unlock the vault and buy time with them right now. Not 10 years from now when you are dead. Now. But listen to me. I don't mean a 5-star luxury resort in Cancun where you all sit around a pool staring at your damn phones. Book a trip to the mountains. Go somewhere cold, somewhere difficult. Let them see you sweat. Let them watch how a real man solves a problem under pressure. That memory of you fixing a broken-down engine in the pouring rain will outlast a $5 million trust fund. Number 3, have the brutal conversation. Sit your children down and remove the safety net. Tell them, I love you far too much to let my money make you weak. Free them from the golden handcuffs of waiting for an inheritance. Let them go build their own empires. Look at these 2 items, the heavy bank book, the tattered passport, the builder, the voyager. They are not enemies. They are 2 halves of a complete man. You must build to survive, but you must experience to live. The ultimate goal isn't to die with 0 in your bank account for selfish hedonism, and it isn't to die with millions while your soul rots in an empty mansion. The true, unshakable freedom of a dying man is to die with 0 regrets, 0 unsaid words, 0 missed opportunities to look your child in the eye and say, I am proud of the warrior you have become. Use your wealth to build men, not dependents. Spend your money on the fire, not the ashes. My time is up. Make sure yours actually counts. Spend it on the fire.